What's going on, you guys? I'm coming to you today with a video about a specific upgrade that you're going to see in Wave 7 called Heavy Ion Emplacements. This is, I think, one of the more powerful and potentially game-changing upgrades that we're going to see in this wave, and I think it warranted a video. Because it does a lot of things and it opens up some new possibilities, and I wanted to talk about it. So it's a 9-point ion cannon, so it makes it kind of expensive, and it gives you the blue crit option of you may exhaust this card if you do the defending hull zone, and each adjacent hull zone loses 1 shield. So you may initially kind of compare this to assault concussions or something like that, but there's a couple of distinctions. First off, it's a blue crit, which we don't see too many blue crit options. But we also, this one has to be exhausted. So this isn't something that can trigger off of multiple attacks, which is kind of good and bad. I mean, it's bad, obviously, because, you're paying 9 points for an upgrade that can only trigger once during a combat, so you can't necessarily double arc somebody or gunnery teams and get extra benefit out of that. Unless, of course, you happen to miss the crit. But for 2, they have to have shields, so you can't do damage. Like if somebody has no shields left, you're not going to do any damage to them at all. So that's interesting, and that's definitely worth taking note of. Also keep in mind that these critical effects are going to kind of take effect before the damage cards are actually assigned, so this could cause more damage cards to actually get through into hull, which is particularly nice. So let's take a look at the different ship, like who are the winners and the losers as far as this card, because my biggest thing that I think makes this really significant is in a lot of ways this has kind of gotten rid of or taken the place of the need for every ship to constantly have XI7s. Maybe not every ship, and I might be exaggerating that a little bit, but XI7 turbo lasers is just huge here. And let me pull up a victory, for example. An XI7s right here, right? So XI7s basically says that while attacking, if the defender spends a redirect token, it cannot suffer more than 1 damage on the hull zones other than the defending hull zone. So it's a nice way to kind of stop people from redirecting to multiple shields. But so is the heavy ions, because a lot of ships don't have tons of shields. Some do, but most of your ships are kind of more heavily shielded, maybe on their front side, and a little bit less shielded on their sides. So if you were going to run XI7s, they still redirect 1, no problem. Well, if you're going to run heavy ions, and let's say you shoot somebody in the front, well, they're going to lose 1 in the front already. Then they're going to lose a shield on each side. And so, there's a lot of ships that will maybe not have any shields left after that, or not have as many, and so they can only afford to redirect 1 to the side. Like even a lot of Star Destroyers, like your Vics and stuff, you're only going to be able to redirect 1 additional, because if I shoot a victory in the front, and now he's going to be down to 2-2-2, and now he can only redirect 1 point more. So, and that's like the best case scenario for the defender. Like look at a Raider, for example, 2-2-2. Now they only have 1 left on those sides anyway, so that's even better than stopping them from redirecting, because you're draining more total health. So speaking of the Raider I think is one of the biggest winners. So out of all the Imperial ships that can take this, your Interdictors can take it, your Raider 2 can take it, and most of your ISDs can take it, although the Simoon can't. So that means the Imperial 2, the Imperial 1, your Kuat, your Interdictor, you definitely would want to go with the Suppression refit in this case because, well, you have more blue dice, so just better chances. So the suppression, both Interdictors can, but you would want the Interdictor suppression refit in this case. And Interdictor actually makes a pretty good option for it because they have lots of blue dice out of everywhere, so they're almost always going to have that shot. But what makes it less than great for the Interdictor is the fact that you have to exhaust it if you get it. So, if you're looking to take advantage of, I can shoot multiple targets, which they certainly can, they're not going to be able to trigger the heavy ions on all of them. Now a victory is a nice option. ISDs just kind of don't really need it as much. I can see it being a thing on the Kuat refit, though, because they don't have the turbo laser upgrade. So the Kuat refit might be able to potentially take a heavy ion and then maybe something here like maybe external racks or or ordnance pods, which actually might be nice, but that's not really going to help them with ships. But let's say external racks, and just make that front shot really, really big. And that's a nice thing that you can do there. But I want to talk about the ships that really do it, because I think large ships got plenty of love in this expansion, but I think the medium ships get even more love. The victories and the raiders, I think, are the biggest winners when it comes to this, because a victory now doesn't need this XI7 anymore. Victory can now take these heavy ions, and then they can take spinal armament, or even slaved turrets, if they want to go cheaper. But I mean, spinal armament. I mean, for a victory 2, you're probably gonna have gunnery teams on anyway, and now you can just put disposable capacitors on, and now you just have a monster shot. You just got a monster shot right here, and your first one, you're also going to drain the shields. Assuming you have some kind of method for rerolls. So if for this, like if I was going to run this ship, I would probably think about running Darth Vader. But yes, amazing, just an amazing card. I can just increase my firepower instead of having to worry about reducing their ability to redirect, because this is going to do that. This also helps stop the or helps minimize the damage caused by brace, because especially on that first round of shooting, you're getting effectively 3 extra damage. So who cares if they brace and maybe you roll 6 damage and they brace it down to 3? Well, all right, but I'm also doing 3 more damage. The Raider 2 is a really nice way to do it. I'm gonna get rid of this Vic and this interdictor, and just look at the Raider 2 here. For example, the Raider 2, you throw heavy ions on the Raider 2, and you don't even need a gunnery team. You don't need that. Save the points. I mean, it's not a bad option. Gunnery team is fine on a Raider 2. As a matter of fact, I have run gunnery team with different, trying to. Let's see. I've run it with Overload Pulse, which it can be nice if you're running Avengers and stuff like that. But just put disposable capacitors on a Raider 2, and you're only going to get one version of heavy ion emplacements with each MC75. So if you want to pick up 2 MC75s, you could run 2 Raiders. I mean, you're only looking at 60 points right there. 2 of those, 120 points. That's really going to be a strong alpha strike. Completely soften up all the shields for your opponents, and then come in with some black dice, or even red dice at this, would be effective here. So if you have some long range stuff, some Architens, I mean, you could just really put some really nasty stuff together this way, and you're at relative safety when you do it too, because you can do this at long range. And then you're moving a speed 2 at that point, and then by the next turn you're going to be in medium range. And I just think that's really incredible. I love it. So let's talk about what the rebels get. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's talk about the rebels. Let's go with a rebel fleet here. Now, there's not as many rebel ships that can really take this. There's your MC80s can take it, or a lot of your MC80s. I don't know if is it all of them. Let's see. We can take it there. We can take it there. And the battle cruiser, command cruiser, the MC. Now our MC75 can take it. MC75 can, or the armored cruiser can take it. And this is actually a really good option for it. But I don't think the MC80s really need it as much. I could see it potentially being used in an Akbar fleet for maybe a command cruiser or something like that. I could see that having some advantage. And it also makes the front arc a little more damaging. So if somebody happens to get in front of your MC80, you can do that. But the real big winner, I think, from the Rebel side here is the CR90B. The CR90B is a ship that really doesn't see a whole lot of play. But let's consider, the putting. Whoops, that's the wrong one. That's not the one we want. I mean, that's a decent one too. Our heavy ion emplacements there. Now our CR90B is only 48 points. That's very cheap for a ship that can do so very much damage right now, just completely destroying shields. I think that's really incredible. And if you wanted to, you could even do Dodonna's Pride, if you wanted to do something like that, and potentially, just potentially, deal with your double arcs that way. I think that's a little bit inefficient, though. I wouldn't run Dodonna's Pride on that one. but a CR90B would be really nice, especially if you were going to run a Profundity and have a bid for first player. Then you drop your CR90B directly in their path, fire, lower their shields. Maybe you dropped it at an angle so it can fly away at speed 4 or something like that. Just really tremendous potential for that small ship. Because a lot of people, I think, when they think the Profundity, they're thinking of dropping a Hammerhead with the black dice and maybe Gorell's Honor or something like that. But think about dropping a CR90B with heavy ion emplacements. That would be really, really dangerous. I think the MC-75 is another option. The armored cruiser, I don't think has been the ship of choice for a lot of people initially looking at the MC-75, and so I think putting heavy ions on this ship will definitely give you some better options. I think you can then come up with all kinds of different combinations for different upgrades that you want to put on there, but it makes this ship a much greater threat at medium range, whereas the MC-75s are kind of the bigger threat at close range, and their ability to kind of survive long enough to get into close range is one of the things I really like about them. But boy, this makes it a nasty threat at medium range as well. And of course, there's different options. I don't think the Liberty style MC-80s really need them as much because you've already got the ability to run XI-7s here. Granted, I still think this is almost like maybe 8 times out of 10, I would say heavy ions is better than XI-7s. And that's just against like maybe if you're doing a side shot on a Star Destroyer, well then maybe that ISD is going to just redirect 3 to the front, because if it was at full strength it'll have 4 shields in the front, something like that. Sure, but you are draining a lot of shields, and if they're going to be trying to spend engineering tokens or they're trying to reduce damage or whatever, either way you're still draining a lot of shields, you're still getting a lot of damage out of that. And I just think that's great. Now, granted, at a certain point, they're going to be completely out of shields, but then your XI-7s would be useless anyway. So that's kind of why I think that it's just a great card. It gets the job done. That XI-7, it gets the XI-7 job done faster. And of course, it is contingent upon having some blue crits, but you have a good chance of getting blue crits. You don't want to run this on a ship that's only got like 1 blue die, and so like you don't want to run it on your B and maybe just be shooting out the rear, but that's common sense. You don't need me to tell you that. I think the CR90B is the biggest winner for the Rebels, especially with Profundity. But the whole idea of Radis bombs are going to be a lot of fun, especially if to run 2 MC-75s. I think is going to be really fun. Warp 1 in, have one start out, warping in a second one that has the Profundity title. So if when the Profundity launch comes in, then it drops a CR90B even closer, maybe behind enemy lines. Just so many really fun things that you can potentially do there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. What do you think about heavy ion emplacements? Do you think this may be a candidate for the biggest winner of Wave 7? I think I'd like to nominate it if we were doing some kind of awards for the biggest impact or the coolest card or the best upgrade. I would definitely nominate it for best upgrade. It's a contender for best card overall, but maybe that might go to Radis. I'm not sure. I'd like to hear what you guys think, though. How would you rate heavy ion emplacements? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and let me know when you think in the comments below. I am starting a new round of the giveaway right now, so it will be for an expansion of your choice in the form of a $20 Cool Stuff gift card that you can use for an expansion of your choice, or just put it towards whatever else you need. So thank you guys again so much for watching. All thing you need to do to enter is to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos, and it's as simple as that. All right, you guys have a great day.